for them as well. So let's get straight into it then without any technical difficulties. Fingers crossed. Anthony, Stuart, Lloyd, are you there to answer the questions? Yes. How are you, buddy?
Hallelujah.
All right.
I'm here.
Good to see you.
Calling Canaan. These are the cartlet votes for the Joesph Song Contest. And of course, that show has its fair share of glitches, of course. I don't need
it does indeed, yes. And we'll get on to that. How are you doing, Anthony? You're well?
Yes, I'm okay. And you're okay?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm better now. I've been sat here for 23 minutes waiting, but we're ready to go. Thank you.
I didn't know what else to do. I didn't press anything. Just
I thought, do I go get a drink? What do I do in the meantime? How are you keeping through all this stuff then, through lockdown and entertaining yourself, etc., etc.?
Oh, fine. It's different. That's one thing. But I think it's just that lack of freedom to go further afield, But a normal routine, if I need to pop to the shop and I'm keeping my distance and all the rest of it and sanitizing but it's all right. It hasn't affected me too much. And
well, of course, you get to perform at home because we're looking forward to the Joesph performance. I know you're on board with it. So all the people have been sending in questions throughout the week. When they heard that you were on board, they've been flooding in. So should we get straight into it then and get into the questions?
Fire away.
All right then, Auntie. We'll kick off with Paula Appleby. What is your advice for younger aspiring actors?
For younger aspiring actors?
Yes.
I almost want to say, don't ask me. Because my background isn't from acting. It's more from the classical repertoire. And I suppose opera singers, let's make no bones about it, it's a different kind of animal in a way to performing straight acting. And a musical theatre acting can be different because you've got rhythm and music and notes to sing. It's technically different. Dare I say demanding, but for actors, who was it once said, just know your lines and don't bump into the furniture?
I don't know who said it, but they're very wise words. I think anybody could live with that.
So I can't, but having done musical theatre, which is a different animal altogether, I learned a lot. But I think the thing is to know what's said about you as a character, and I suppose what you say about others, but it's more important what other characters say about you to build up your character, I suppose. That was something I learned whilst doing an opera in college at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. We had the head of the acting department, and he directed one of the operas, and that was good advice. Sometimes the advice can be very small. Small things can be quite important. So I think that was one thing, just to build your character. So whatever is in the play that is describing you, mentions what you've done, you can get the clues there from the playwright. That's the immediate thing that comes to mind. But I don't have a long history of straight acting, as it were. It's not something I'm well versed at. So
good advice, Anthony. Thank you very much. I'm sure Paula will love that. Stephen James has been asking a popular question. A lot of people have asked this week. Can you sing us the Joesph Colours?
I knew you were going to ask that, and I saw Darren. I saw Darren Day struggle, so I don't feel so bad. And I thought of it too late. I can't remember all the words. Actually, when I was in the show, it took me ages, and I think our associate director and choreographer, David Rose, was our musical director. Because they can always pull the levels down on my voice once the microphone was off, but my youngest brother, was in the audience, and I said, "Can you still hear me?" He said, "Oh yes." So it was kind of not bel canto, but can belto. Yeah. And they said, "You need to start singing the words, the colours to the coat." I was tempted to put them in Welsh and see how that went, because so the answer is no.
No.
I had to cheat a little bit when we've done this. The video that's yet to come out, so I'll look forward to seeing how that comes
Amazing
out.
miming, and they just dubbed it over.
Well, it's just kind of like, I wish I had a proper auto cue and I could just look down, the barrel of
Yeah.
the lens and just, do it that way. But it'd be interesting to do it in Welsh because I was talking to H from Steps. I think he can speak a little bit of Welsh.
It can, yeah.
He was one of my sons, not 12, but of course
Yeah.
the favourite son. And I wondered it'd be nice to do a production in Welsh. I don't know if it's been done in other languages. So, but if anyone's sat in the front row and doing it in Welsh, they may have to take one of those ponchos you get at Disney World because a lot of,
I mean, you
be
definitely have
spit.
to extend the music as well, wouldn't you? Because the words, I assume, would be a lot bigger than just extending the
All the
colours.
double L's and the CH's and the double D. He'd rather sing and and just stick that in for fun and nobody will know. But
Yeah.
I can't off the top of my head. Why do they keep asking that question?
I don't know. I'm surprised they put it so early on as well. I thought it'd be at the end.
Change the question.
Well, we admire your honesty. Sarah Jones, what's your favourite musical?
My favourite musical, I think, is Carousel.
Why?
I just love the melodies, love the story. It is a tearjerker, and that is the world of music theatre or even musical theatre. It doesn't have to be jolly. Les Mis is not a fun one, but there's funny moments. But there's a lot of pathos and poignancy, and just all those wonderful melodies in it. You'll Never Walk Alone, and the soliloquy.
Yeah.
And I did it many, many years ago with an amateur operatic society in Cardiff, my home city. But I was Mr. Snow, which was quite a high role for me. But my voice isn't very high anymore. I think I got through it. But it's and there's kind of not a dry eye in the house or even on stage at the end of that musical. And I think it's just got and a wonderful overture, which is quite unusual because it has no bearing. You don't get the snippets of the tunes of the show that you will hear, which is okay. But that the Carousel waltz just totally. And I've seen some things on YouTube where they incorporate that. But I think that's my favorite one, Carousel. I think.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Fiona Deeb has sent a message in. If you could perform anywhere, where would it be and why?
Anywhere, where would it be and why? I think the Royal Albert Hall.
Nowhere Welsh? Would you not go more local?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes, I can go local. We have a nice theatre near me in the Pembrokeshire College and the Merlin Theatre. And but I was in the first intake of a new school back in 1900 and frozen to death quite a while ago. I won't say when, I'll give my age away. I was a child prodigy. I was in secondary school at 4 years old. Anyway, and we, in that first year, we had a chance to perform as a school choir in kind of Welsh costumes at the Royal Albert Hall. And it was kind of a world peace theme. It's so long ago, as I said. This is pre anything. And I forgot this hymn we sang, but it'd be nice to go back to the Royal Albert Hall. Last time I watched an opera. A friend of mine who was in the cast of Joesph, funny enough, Rob J. Cole, he had some tickets to go and see La Boheme, which in the round was a bit strange because some of it's very intimate. But I think it would have to be in a kind of concert format. Even if I was singing as a guest with a Welsh male voice choir or the 1,000 male voices they sometimes get there with a Welsh guy singing away. That would be a nice thing to do, just to go back and say, the last time I was there before my voice broke. So it would sound a bit different now. So maybe the Royal Albert Hall. Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah, it's an iconic venue, isn't it? It's one that pops up over and over again.
Haley, I'm a big fella, and if I went in there, it would just look like someone's front room. About 6'7". And, if you've ever seen the Disney film called Willie the Operatic Whale, he's gone to the opera house and he's stood up and he's actually that far away from the gods, the people in the cheap seats right at the top, and you can see his mouth's open. Not that I'm as big as a whale, but there we go.
Yeah, don't put yourself down, Andy. Fine, buddy.
I could be a Jonah as opposed to a Jacob. That's another biblical story, but we won't go there.
Moving on, Haley Bordiak. Who would you want to play you if there was a film about your life?
Oh gosh. Well, then you're going to have someone who's younger than me. Um, a lot of people. Well, it depends if you want someone that looks like you. That doesn't always have to be the case. We're watching
It's
the
your movie.
Crown.
It is your question. You could do whatever. It could be.
Yeah,
It could be Brad Pitt if you want it to be, Anthony.
never heard of him. No, he'll go far, whoever he is. But I'm thinking that maybe a younger Alfred Molina.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head that could play me. It's because when I heard the film about Pavarotti was coming out, I thought it was about someone playing him, but it was a documentary film, of course. But I was thinking, who would play him? But yeah, probably Alfred Molina. Some people say look a bit like him, maybe in profile.
Yeah.
Or yeah, or a well-upholstered Stuart Granger. He was an actor from a long, long time ago. A friend of mine in college called me Scaramouche because he was in a film called Scaramouche. He was a lot thinner than me, but the profile was very similar. So I think maybe Alfred Molina.
Yeah, it's your film. It is completely up to you, Anthony.
Okay.
Peter Yearman, what does Joesph mean to you?
What does Joesph mean to me? I think, well, first of all, it was nice to perform in the West End. That was a nice kind of feather in the cap. But I'm always mindful that the West End isn't everything. And,
True.
there are, when you tot up all the performances in the provinces and various cities and towns throughout the UK, you tot those up for people who are jobbing actors, be it in straight plays, musicals, or even opera. And, thank goodness that does go on outside of the West End. The West End is all very well and it's great,
Yeah.
Don't knock it. And it was quite a weird story for me to be in the kind of second phase of that West End production with H, because I had a call from my agent. I literally came back from doing a corporate gig in Paris for the Welsh tourism, the Welsh Assembly government. And my agent said, Jacob wants to hear you for Joesph. And I thought, who the hell is Jacob? I thought, is he a big producer like Cameron McIntosh or, Rugg or something? And they just got the message totally wrong. I thought, who was Jacob? Am I supposed to know who Jacob is? Jacob wants to hear you for Joesph. And they just got the message wrong. And I just turned up and they kind of went, oh, wow. And it was then everything was explained. And there I was in the West End. And I thought, well, not only that, I've performed in London before. Done work with English National Opera and concerts with the London Symphony Orchestra. But
Yeah.
Joesph, and I thought, wow, what a wonderful show, because my background was in opera, classical concerts, oratorios, recitals. And I did 14 months there, 9 shows a week, as you may be aware of. And Saturday felt like Panto Day because it's free. Oh, yes, it was.
Getting their money's worth out of you.
And it was like, have we just done the second or was that the third one? And I think the only way I could gauge it was when we were provided with the meal after the second show. And then, there's only one more to do.
Yeah.
And I never tired of it. I'm not a snob when it comes to music. I'm all embracing. It's just dots on a page. And if it's got a beautiful melody and tune and it tells a story, a bit like, as I mentioned, Carousel. That it's great, and it wasn't too taxing to do those shows because, Jacob's kind of a cameo role and you're doubling up as Potiphar. And I think if you're doing big roles in opera, that's why they're spaced out. That's why you can only do maybe 2 or 3 in a week because it's technically different, no microphones. And no, I enjoyed it. And it was a wonderful thing to have done. I never tired of it. It was just, and when they extended it, unfortunately, I was away with another engagement. And I said, I'm not free, but if you want me back in 2 weeks, but it never happened. I thought, probably in a good way, now is the time to finish on a high. And the audience is very supportive. They love the show. It is kind of, it's like the Peter Pan of musicals, really. It's never ages,
Yeah, it is indeed. If anything, I've noticed through doing these questions with various cast members, people that have been involved in Joesph throughout the years, whether it be Darren Day or Rhea Jones, or they all say the same thing. It was one of the highlights of their career, and they had so much fun while they're doing it. And it's one that stood the test of time. And if you ever say Joesph to somebody, they know exactly what it is. So not many musicals have that.
No, I remember when I was in it in the New London Theatre. I always joke about that theatre because Cats was in that theatre before Joesph went in, and I always say to my audiences, I'm doing a cabaret or a concert, I wish they'd taken the litter trays out from the production of Cats. It left a hell of a mess, the smell and everything. Anyway, but some of my mother's girlfriends came down to London to come and see the show, and they went in singing the tunes. Now, normally for a hit musical, more so if it's new, you want them coming out singing the tunes. And not to be too personal about the production, but I, dare I say, wasted about $300 when I got off singing a cruise in New York. And I thought, let's go and see some Broadway shows. Loved Little Night Music, loved South Pacific. And I went to see a musical about someone who's green and flies on a broomstick. And it's kind of a sequel or a
prequel. Yeah.
Something like prequel or some quill. And I thought it was a wonderful spectacle. It had everything going for it visually, but musically, I just didn't get it, with the certain tunes. It wasn't, there was one or two that were great. And overall, it was, as I say, a spectacle. But I as I said before, I like melody, a good tune, and it goes somewhere and not to be too clever. And you don't need to work the audience for them to work it out. So it was just so weird seeing my mum's girlfriends going in to the new London theatre on Drury Lane, going in singing The Coat of Many Colours and, Eddie Dream Will Do and all the rest of it. I thought that's a testament to the show. And they'll never die, those tunes. That's it.
Was your mum and her girlfriends, like bringing the handbags, throwing them in the middle of the aisles, boogieing around to the tunes, maybe? Or would you not embarrass your mother like that?
Well, I couldn't see. I don't know. I have no idea where they were sat.
Could you hear them?
Oh, you don't want to hear some of my mother's friends. Even though when they say, the Welsh can sing, don't believe it. There's some people who have what my old singing teacher said. They have democratic pitch, which might mean, sounds a bit clever, doesn't it?
It is.
He says, oh, well, you might think you're singing a B flat, but you're entitled to your opinion. Maybe that's the democracy part of it. It's just kind of, So, yeah, a lot of people in Wales do sing, and we got a lot of iconic people like, if you're going that far back to Tom Jones and Shirley Bassey, Sir Guy and Evans before, all of those guys, classical, the whole gamut of music, really. But, it's not just indicative of Wales, but it is known as the land of song. So,
Yeah, it is indeed.
So I was quite at home with the set there at the New London Theatre with the pop-up sheep. I thought I was in one of the valleys.
Just like being at home.
We'll move swiftly on, though, yes.
Yeah, we'll continue on Joesph, though. Chris Rad wants to know, how was your time in Joesph? And what Josephs did you work with? Now, you mentioned H from Steps. Was it just him that you worked with? And how was it in Joesph?
Was that the beginning of the question? How was it?
Yeah, how was your time in Joesph, and what Joesph did you work with? Chris Rad.
There was a lot of camaraderie. And this is the whole thing about whatever involved it, in a theatrical sense, is the teamwork.
Yeah.
And we certainly had that, because it's a very tight show and a lot of quick changes and people are doubling up on things. And I think, in a way, that's how theatre used to be years ago. You double up, and that was a skill for me to. I don't think I'd ever played two roles in the same show, so that was a learning process for me. But yes, there was Little H from Steps. We used to finish the show. Then he had this kind of mega mix thing at the end, and he said, in his I can't really do the Rhondda accent. He said, "Have we all enjoyed yourselves?" And the crowd would go, "Yeah," and he go, "Me too," and then we go, "Ooh, ooh," and then off we went. Then there was Andrew Derbyshire. He was great.
Yeah.
They've all been great. We had, for a while, Simon Gorton, who was kind of promoted, if you like, as from one of the brothers, and he was it for a wee while.
Yeah.
A very short appearance, the late, great Richard Swerin, he was in it. They had a real problem because whoever was Joesph was ill, the swing was ill, and they found him, and like a real trooper, it's kind of what they call it, Dr. Footlights or Dr. Theatre. And he went on, he barely fitted into the shoes, and he went on. And I thought that's a true mark of a professional. Okay, better if you know the role. You're not going to cram it with photographic memory, or you've got auto cues and cues in your ear and stuff. Darren Day, worked with him, and Suzanne Shaw was the narrator. I don't think it was any other Joes. We had very briefly a chap called Simon Schofield. So they're doing the job as the swings, and that's a kind of well-oiled machine. Should anything happen, if someone is ill, as they say, the show must go on. So I think those were the. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Day. That Canaan Day. There he is. That Canaan Day. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That was lovely.
So moving on from Joesph, let's talk about Eurovision. Melissa Smith. Eurovision was meant to be tonight. Do you watch it? And if so, what was your favourite song?
I do watch it, and it's become more of a spectacle. There's me saying certain musical.
Yeah. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was watching a documentary or a chat about it yesterday, and just how whichever country was hosting it had the technical ability that everything was all on computer with screens on the floor and screens behind, and it's
amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's almost like you're losing the song.
I guess, yeah.
It's in there, and yes, some of them are a bit cheesy.
The best ones.
Favorite song. They were playing it today on the radio. Is the German girl that won it? I forgot the title. A little loving da 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 da. I can't remember the name of the tune, but those are the kind of things that seem to work. But now it's gone a bit kind of just anything goes, So long as you don't have too many doobie doos and shalalalas, which are all right, Fine if you're the pharaoh and you want a bit of rock and roll. Then I can't think of anything. Well, there's the obvious one: "Save All Your Kisses for Me," Brotherhood of Man.
Yeah, classic.
Waterloo, and Making Your Mind Up with what were they called? I forgot the name of that group.
Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz. That was with all the gimmicks and the skirts and all that. So it has to be kind of visual. I wish sometimes the jurors didn't know which countries were performing. Okay.
No, this is because it is political now more than ever, isn't it?
Oh, terrible. So why not have? Okay, if you know the language, you can't vote for your country. But someone made the point that if someone from Latvia lives in the UK, they can vote outside of their country. So, or if someone from Latvia lives anywhere outside of Latvia, then they can, and then if you had the jurors not seeing, they never see the performances apparently, but they can hear it and they know where they're coming from. So, anyway, that's
fair enough. There you go, Melissa. There's your answer.
Hopefully.
Stephen Johnston, would you like to be in any other musical? If so, which one and why? Also, what role would you love to play? Now, I know we tapped on Carousel earlier. So if you were to be in Carousel, what role would you love to play?
So which musical would I like to be in? So that's so that would involve a role.
Yeah.
If it was a choice to be in a musical as opposed to what is my favorite musical, I would love to play Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. Because when I'm doing my kind of one-man cabaret show, I stick, If I Were a Rich Man. And people come up and say, "Oh, have you played that role?" And I used to joke saying, "I'm not old enough to have 5 daughters or however many daughters he had," even though I am. So it'd be nice to do a full-blown production of that instead of just, the numbers in a concert. Well, sorry, what was the other question?
Would you like to play any musical? If so, which one and why? Also, what role would you love to play?
So that would be it. Fiddle on the Roof, Tevye. And again, that's another piece of musical theatre that's sweet and sour. It's not all jolly. There's funny moments, but it's the two masks, isn't it? You've got to have those two masks in the story. Tragedy even, and comedy. So
Yeah. It's like we were saying to Ria and I think Darren and Andrew the other week. I think the key to a great musical in the story is the roller coaster ride that it takes you on with your emotions, and then it embraces you more and pulls you in.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true, 100%. But the weird thing is, with audience members, if you've got a story, let's say that is tragic, and they know the story, but they're watching you in a theatrical presentation. It is the suspension of disbelief. But although that audience member would know the story and the outcome, where it's going to go,
Yeah.
They're seeing you as a character that doesn't know the end of the story. And if it's a good performance, you get, the audience gets drawn into that, and you as a performer are doing a job to tell that story, even though they know the ending, if that makes sense. It's like Titanic. We all know what happens at the end, but if you're seeing a performance or the film, you're watching. Oh God, only they'd set off later.
Alison Dreghorn, how are you coping with lockdown? What have you been doing to pass your time during these strange times?
Oh, what I've been doing? Well, I like. I don't want to say writing. It's not creative writing. Kind of research. I like doing that, and I'm researching a great baritone called Sir Geraint Evans, a Welsh opera singer. And just compiling something for that. And I'm putting a new idea for a cabaret show, because you've got to kind of keep things fairly fresh. Can't be doing it every week. Here's a new show, because it takes a lot of the creative part of that. It takes a lot to do. So I'm kind of using that time to do that. I don't sound the best, and I've got a funny way of doing it with a Word document and gleaning lots of stuff from left, right, and center. So that's something kind of creative. I'm not really into doing puzzles and quizzes, and I know you've been doing quizzes on your channel, but I've got the patience of a gnat. Mind you, maybe a gnat's got more patience than me, but I'm not pretty good with those kind of mental things to keep your brain activated. Just kind of like a bit of research and looking into people's stories, as if I could probably write a good biography, but I'm tending to read other people's biographies to make up a story, or a narrative on that. So, but coping pretty well with it, as I said earlier on. It's
good.
It's unfortunate, but you just have to battle on.
True, indeed. There you go, Alison. Ian Henderson, did you enjoy your time in Joesph, and what's it like to be part of the Joesph concert, singing those classic Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice songs again?
As I said before, I enjoyed being in the production. As I said, the camaraderie and then the teamwork was amazing, and some real characters, on stage and off stage. When I say characters, thankfully we've never really had too much mucking around and trying to corpse each other. That was one thing that didn't happen, because I think we just had no time. Apart from one Joesph with a single letter to his name, who I mentioned earlier on, and in the scene where I came on as Potiphar, he was trying to corpse me. He was trying to say slightly naughty things, knowing that his microphone wasn't on. It'd be funny if his mic was on, but he was whispering anyway. But he was trying to corpse me, you see, and I just wasn't having any of it. I thought, because you've got a line to sing, and if you start laughing and then you're supposed to be Mr. Angry, it's not really going to work. But he tried his best, but he's the only one that did that. But
he seems like a mischievous kind of person.
But in a way, it's great. They can do that. You're taking a little bit of a risk, but it could backfire.
It's true.
He had bounds of energy. He was. They all did. What was the second part of that question?
What's it going to be like singing those classic Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice songs again? As we said, they are iconic.
Yes, no, they were fine. The arrangement was slightly different, so I had to get to grips with that. But then that's another little challenge, and it was great. It's kind of like it's virtually got everything there. I think people will love it, and I felt it's almost like whatever the original kind of cantata version was it Collette School or something? This was before it became the kind of theatrical version, because it was written for that school. It's amazing how something can grow from that. So this kind of highlights version, that's exactly, it's just doing what it says on the box. You don't have to I don't want to say sit through it, because there are other versions I'm sure you can see, but this is kind of nice. It's neat, you know.
Yeah.
And I said earlier on about small things can be quite effective, and this being the highlights version is great. I think it's a good use of the word, you know, instead
Yeah.
of saying the potted version. You know, it's great. I enjoyed it immensely. It was a bit, and I'm kind of doing a few more of these things to camera for some cruise lines, and I even went live myself with a where I live in West Wales in Haverfordwest. I did a concert in the street for VE Day.
Brilliant.
So a mixture. Last night the proms, bit of musical
Yeah.
theatre, bit of Vera wartime songs, Vera Lynn, and I hadn't a clue. So this is all new to me. Even
Yeah.
this, even though I had a little glitch. And thanks for everyone that's viewing for hanging on in there. It's worth the wait, as you can tell.
Oh, Anthony.
They're
We're
probably
looking.
watching Dad's Army now. You never. Don't.
We're looking forward to seeing what you do. I know a lot of you guys have already recorded it. I know the team are putting it all together, and we're very
Yeah.
excited to see the final polished version. Mark McTaggart. Now, everyone else who's been interviewed, as you know, has been asked if they could sing or say or sing all the colours in order. Now, earlier on, I know we asked you if you could sing them, but can you remember them?
Well, if I could remember them, I could sing them.
And we
There's an
thought,
answer
and
for
we
you.
thought you were just having a diva moment. I'm not singing it. I'm just
Excuse
gonna
me, it's Devo, not a
diva.
diva.
I apologise.
We're masculine. Well, the last time we looked at it. So, you know. No, it's so long ago. It's way back many centuries ago, long before the Bible began. I think I remember part of the narrator's opening bit there, but I can't. It's as I said, I struggled a bit doing the highlights. You know, it was yeah, a lot of colors. You know,
Yeah.
why couldn't Jacob just give him a black coat? It would have been so much.
Yeah.
It
True.
was black, and then you save 20 minutes.
Black with a
And you
couple
could
of
do it,
buttons. Happy days.
yeah, you know, and then do a tap routine, you know, and
So the answer's no. So fair enough. You don't
yeah,
know them.
move on. Sorry about that.
Tanya Stevenson, what cruise ships have been your favourite to perform in, and where is your favourite places you have visited whilst working on them? Yep. You spoke about Broadway earlier.
Yeah,
Where
that was
else?
with Cunard. Cunard. Well, I can't say cruise line with Cunard because you're not on a cruise. This sounds a bit snobby, but it's not snobby. Very often you do your show, and if you're talking to the audience, you can't say cruise director. It's the entertainment's director, and you're not on a cruise. You're on a voyage.
A
So I can't go
voyage.
a voyage. So you can't go up to the guests and say, "Oh, lovely to meet you. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed the show. How long have you been voyaging?" You know, you say cruising, don't you? Cruising. But
I don't
they
know what
like to
sounds
be,
worse.
yeah, but because they have the Queen Mary 2, which does these specifically built for the transatlantic
Yeah.
cruises, but it can go anywhere. Obviously, it's got its own berth in Brooklyn. It's too big to go on the Hudson side. So, but I'm pretty bad with my favorite things, you know, with sometimes. And I've mentioned favorite musicals and favorite role I like to do, but you know, I could get into trouble if I favor one particular cruise line. I could be persona
Yeah.
non grata. But
You might get no more work either.
I thought that's what that meant.
Oh, sorry. I'm from Yorkshire. I don't know posh words.
Yeah, not wrong with that.
I
Not
ain't
wrong
mad.
with that. Aye. Bah. I love Yorkshire. I got a mate up there in East Yorkshire. But no, I've done various lines, and they all differ so much, and that's the difficult thing when they're all kind of different. Yes, it's a cruise, or a voyage.
Voyaging.
But Saga with Holland America, Fred Olsen, and they all vary so much because they're all kind of brands, as it were.
Yeah.
They've all got something different to offer, and they kind of look after you, and you know, the workload on the night, if you have two shows, if there's two dinner sittings, you know, on the night is hard work. It's just you.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the time you can relax a bit until your second evening. So that's kind of more manageable
Yeah.
from a vocal hygiene point of view. That sounds so aloof, doesn't it? You can rest because you've done a lot. You know, a 45-minute show twice is a lot of singing. You know, it's more than you might do in an opera or even in a musical. It's a lot. But Yeah, so but the QNOT one was good because that's the benefit. You can get off somewhere,
Yeah.
and occasionally you can ask the cruise line to delay your flight home. So I booked into a hotel and thought, right, I want to see some Broadway musicals, and they were ostensibly written by Broadway composers, Stephen Sondheim, Little Night Music, with somebody called Catherine Zeta something or other. She was in it.
She
She'll
might
go
do.
far.
I think she'll do all right.
She'll go far. And oh, who played her mother? What's her name? Murder She Wrote. She's still around. Oh, what's her name?
Is it Angela Lansbury?
Angela. She stole the show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, singing a song liaison. South Pacific, of course. Royce and Hammerstein from New York. And then there was this other one with the green lady on the broomstick. And
let's not get your view on that again.
no, it's just me. I'm entitled to my view.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question on the cruises? Or was there...
Yeah, I think you covered that and some. Thank you very much, Anthony.
All right.
And we've got Danik Whitworth. Joesph is my favourite musical ever. What was it like being part of this incredible musical and playing the role of Jacob? And had you seen Joesph prior to you getting the gig?
Well, I kind of answered some of that earlier, but I hadn't seen Joesph to that, and I knew some of the tunes when I was kind of in school, and you just pick things up, and it's like a little music worm. It's in your head, and it's quite kind of indelible. It's kind of inked into your brain, these tunes, and I go back to the camaraderie and doing the role. Well, it was fun for me because, as I say, I'm about 6'7", fairly heavily built. I have a lowish voice. I'm not a low bass, what they call a basso profondo. It's kind of between kind of baritone and bass baritone. So certain roles like that, the music or the vocal line, the range, it's stricter, if you like, or more, I don't want to say severe, but it denotes in a stronger way than typecasting, because you have to fit, the range. So so I'm used to playing, baddies and daddies and kings and priests and quack doctors and the devil and you name it. So so there I was as the daddy again, and that was fun. And going back to remembering all the colors in the vocal line for Jacob, he doesn't have to sing his son's names, and I couldn't remember all the sons' names either. They used to leap on stage. They used to jump up and try and high five me, but they never reached, because when you're 6'7" and put your arm up, you needed kangaroos or something in the car. So it was just so that was fun to play another kind of daddy role, because I'm used to playing those, and I used to have to put grey makeup on, and now I wouldn't have to. I'd have to I'd have to put a dark beard on. It's frantic, quick changes, and then but now I've gone salt and pepper now anyway. So I wouldn't.
The salt and pepper looks good. I've got that. It's good.
Have you? Oh, it's all right. Yeah, it looks all right. Oh, you haven't got. What do you? I can't see any of it.
I've got a few. I'm debating in lockdown whether to dye it or not, Anthony. That's the thing. My girlfriend cut it, but should I dye it? That's the thing.
Would she dye it or you?
I'd dye it, apparently.
Oh. Does that mean you don't trust her with your hair? Because it looks like a good cut.
I helped.
Why wouldn't you trust her with colouring your hair?
You've never met her. Right.
Oh.
Anyway, before I get in bother, let's move on. What is your favourite Joesph song? Now, you mentioned, obviously, not being able to remember the colours and your operatic, classical background. If you had to choose a song from Joesph that was your favourite, what would it be?
Well, I suppose the question is whether it is a song. But to rack my brains, if the title was "The Coat of Many Colors," was that the title of the song? Because that was quite an extended thing, because that builds up the story.
Yeah.
From the Bible. But it was jaunty. I like the tune, the melody, the rhythm, catchy, and I loved all the descants. Dum dum dim bum ba dum ba. It's just kind of, it's just toe tappy, isn't it? And that to me was quite infectious. And I just thought that, to me, yes, I love. Had to sing Canaan Days, and then you've got the Close Every Door to Me, and Every Dream Will Do, and then there's the Calypso and the the kind of cowboy western thing. I've forgotten the title of that one now, but wonderful pastiches, just to recreate a kind of a French cabaret song or something like that. It was just like, wow, that takes talent, and that's that's lyrics and of course with Lloyd Webber with the music. So I think it was that the coat of many colors. It was just it kind of built, and all those Deskins had. I think it was Carmel Thomas's choir. They were lovely kids, kind of stage left and right, on these kind of bleachers. Sad thing for them is they were kind of, there's a wall beside them. They couldn't really see everything going on in the show, but they were professional, even though these young kids all bust in. But I think that was a tune I liked the most. It was a long song, if you call it a song. It's like almost a scene in itself, just to build up the story.
Brilliant. Thank you. A question just came up on my screen, but it's vanished. But I'll pick up on a bit of it that I got. When you're doing your cruise shows, you do a particular tribute to a particular singer.
Oh, yes. Well, this started last year. There's a singer that some people may remember. They remember more of the titles of the shows that he was in. So if I say Oklahoma, Annie Get Your Gun, Seven Brides and Seven Brothers, Kiss Me Kate, Showboat, and this was the late, great Howard Keel.
That's the one.
Howard Keel, yeah. And it was his centennial last year, so I did quite a few concerts. I did one in the West End at Brasserie ZL, quite an intimate setting, because nobody else seemed to be marking it. And through his biographer, I even contacted his widow, called Judy Keel, and she writes to me frequently, and I correspond back.
Yeah.
Christmas cards and so on, and send some brochures and programs. But he was a great singer, very, very striking man. But I'm not doing a tribute. I'm taller than he was, bigger than he was, more upholstered.
Yeah.
And the voice is a similar, what the Italians call in music terms, tessitura. It's where your voice lies. Are you a tenor, baritone, baritone?
Yeah.
So, and a different timbre, but he was a great singer. And he was in the days when they were needed a different technique, because the microphones weren't as teeny as they are today, where it's just there. They had to, project more. That was the nature of the game. So, but I've kind of kept it there because the theme, and it's more like a celebration than the misuse of the word tribute, is still kind of working today. So I was speaking to someone on the phone, and they were hoping I could bring it to another Welsh town. I've done it here in Haverfordwest, and the only bit of footage I had was me singing Old Man River and getting a standing ovation, which is...
Now, talking of Old Man River, Anthony, I've got the question now. It was Peter Stevens, and he says, have you seen... I've seen your cruise show where you pay tribute, not tribute, to Howard Keel. So he got it right, I got it wrong. Could we get a snippet of Bless Your Beautiful Hide or Old Man River, please?
Oh.
It would make Peter's day. It would make Peter's day.
Is he still
there?
Don't
upset Peter. He's still there.
Let's see. I'm looking at some of the questions here. Maybe it's his choice. I'm trying to think.
I'm getting a thumbs up in my screen, so...
Oh, there we go. Let's do Bless Your Beautiful Hides.
Yes.
Hopefully I remember that one, because there's no colours in that one. So
you sound like you're colourblind.
I am. Why is this screen all in grey? It should be all like rainbow colours. They'll let the cat out of the bag. So a little snippet of Bless Your Beautiful Hide.
Please, yes.
Bless your beautiful hide, wherever you may be. We ain't met yet, but I'm willing to bet you're the gal for me. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That'll do.
You've made
if you want more, come to the show.
You've made Peter's night. Well, on that, another extended one is, can you sing any of your Jacob lines, Joseph's Mother, or Canaan Days?
Oh, Canaan Days.
Canaan Days. Sorry, it's spelt wrong on here.
Oh, see there. I don't know. Mind you, I can never spell it. Is it 3 N's or 4 A's or whatever it is? Yeah, I think the opening bit for Jacob was tricky. Such a short phrase, but it was knowing where to take the breath. And you might think that opera is difficult. It's technically different, but you're still singing at the end of the day, and I used to struggle with that. So it was the beginning, and I was counting like mad because it came in on a funny beat, so you had to have your wits about you, you know. How did it go at the beginning? Joseph's mother, she was quite my favorite wife. I never really loved another all my life, and Joesph was my joy because he reminded me of her. So that was that bit. So it's a long phrase, and you had to kind of almost snatch a breath somewhere, just to keep it going, you know, and that's. But I think I had enough breath to keep going.
Yeah.
Before keeling over.
Yeah.
Or even Howard keeling over.
Well, Anthony, you've kept going tonight. Thank you for dealing with all these questions we've put to you.
No, my pleasure.
A shame you couldn't remember the colours, but don't worry. We'll arrange another Q&A, and you've got a bit of time to research them. How does that sound?
I want an auto cue.
That's just ruining it, then, isn't it?
No, that everyone's doing it. You know, well, some people are, but yeah, my God, it's do they even rhyme? Half of the colours I've never heard of before. I might just for fun put them in and see what comes out in Welsh, and I'll get a windscreen wiper on the screen, and hope for the best. You know.
Yeah.
But thanks for the questions. You know.
Well, they've put in. You got many fans out there that have been watching this. Thank you so much for chatting to us tonight and sticking with us through the technical difficulties. And we cannot wait to see you in this amazing Joesph and the All-Star Cast highlights concert. Anthony, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon.
Wonderful. Thanks to everyone.
Take care, Anthony. All the best.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
And we'll be back with you in a few days with more interviews on behalf of Joesph and the amazing All-Star Cast highlights concert. We'll reveal on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram very, very soon who those are going to be and when they're going to be happening. So if you've got any questions you'd like to put forward, please do now or when you hear about it. If you know something I don't, you can tweet Mike Holloway, Monday at 7. There you go. There's one for you. So if you've got any questions for Mike Holloway, I know he's a big star from the Joesph era, get them through right now. You can send them by message through our Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, or you can just comment on the page or whatever. And we look forward to chatting to you Monday night, 7 o'clock, chatting to Mike Holloway. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, stay well, stay alert, and we'll see you Monday. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.